Okay, I'm going to do a little bit with stenciling some leaves. When I did this card, I really just randomly placed the leaves and stenciled it on there. And that works just fine, honestly. But the leaves were actually made to go with specific branches, and they will line up well with specific branches if you know what you're looking for. It's not marked on the stencil. There's not really any way to do that. But there are 3 different patches of leaves, and they go with the 3 different branches. Hopefully, the packaging has that on it, so you can see what your piece is supposed to look like. I'm going to do this, actually, I think with... trying to decide what I'm going to stencil with. All right, so I've got this branch. So this is the one right down here. I can see from my stencil which one it is. So it's this one. It is straightforwardly, this is a little bit shrunken, but straightforwardly, this is exactly the one I used here. So I can see that this 3 goes with this. And it does not on any level have to be exact, but you do want to kind of just line it up just a little bit. These leaves are kind of meant to just go on the ends of these little stems. So once you get it generally there, it's going to be just fine, because you'll probably also want to add some secondary leaves kind of to give it some depth. So, but the main leaves, if you just kind of copy the way it is on here, you'll be able to see which one goes with which one. And honestly, if you've got your stencil at home, you can mark them too and mark which branch goes with which one. And honestly, if you could even mark, if you have a Sharpie, you could draw on it to see where those branches go once you've lined it up, and then it's always marked that way for you. So that's actually probably what I would do, is take a Sharpie and mark that. I might show you. Is this a Sharpie? I don't even know if this is a Sharpie or not, but you could just mark the main branch so you know how to line it up the next time you go. Kind of like that, right? Doesn't have to be the whole thing, but just so you can kind of see where the actual branch would be. Okay. I don't know if that's a Sharpie or not, so it may not stay. Anyway, I'm just gonna stencil with normal stencil brush here. Yeah. It's gonna blend a little bit in here because I did not use a Sharpie. They'll be just a little bit darker than they were. Do that again. I think with this kind of layering too, I'm going to do the darker leaves. Like this will be the darker set of leaves. And then I might switch to a lighter ink pad and just do a little bit of leaves in the background so it has a little bit more depth. Yeah. All right, so that's about probably what I want for that. And so that is very nice, and you could leave that, if you're going for a simple look, that's a great, easy, simple look. You could stamp and die cut a bird and put it right on there. If you want to add a little bit of depth, you can. And I'm going to do, I'll do that to demonstrate that for you. A little bit lighter ink in that same kind of color family. All right, so now I'm not going to go exactly like this is where I did a minute ago. So I might turn it a little bit. What I might do is just shift it around a lot and pick some leaves that I want to put various places and then just stencil those. It's just going to give a little bit of background leaf look to it. So it fleshes it out a little bit more, like a little bit more fuller branch. And sometimes if I'm doing that, I'm just going to do a few leaves, and then I might reposition my stencil and do a few more. I like the way this part of it is positioned, so I'm going to do this top part right here, and then probably reposition. Try some more to put a little bit extra down here. When you're moving the stencil around, it doesn't line up, in the same way it did before. Like I said, it doesn't have to, because you're just trying to get some background leaves. See how that kind of fleshes it out a little bit more. And then I'll just do something down here. Probably just want to have a few leaves in the background down in here. So I'm going to do, yeah, maybe this little section. So I might just work on this outside little section. It doesn't have to be the whole stencil. It can be just one section of it. I love the leaves. And so the stamp set doesn't have leaves on it. I didn't have room to put the leaves on there. So the leaves, I mean, it's made to be bare branches on the stamp set. But if you want to add leaves and use it for, more spring cards rather than winter, I mean, the set's called Winter Cardinals. And so the branches are bare. But being able to fit them onto the stencil was great, because now you can use this for a whole bunch of seasons. You could do different color leaves for the fall if you wanted to use it for that. So it gives you a lot of ways to use the stencil to extend the usefulness of the stamp set, because you could do that for all seasons. So that's a nice little stenciled branch.